thank you again for joining us here today. We're going to get going here on the Excellence Awards in a bit. Before we do that, I had just a terrific guest, and earlier today we talked about the movement that began 15 years ago with Paul Newman and CEOs from a number of leading companies that has become CECP. And we'll share some of the results of our surveys and others here coming in a bit. And it's just wonderful to see all the interaction and the rest. And today we're delighted to have with us Clea Newman, Paul's daughter, who's joined us here for lunch. Clea, if you can stand just for a bit. And we really appreciate that legacy of Newman's Own, and we'll be doing on-site program coming up here at one of our breakouts, which will be an opportunity for people to really fill the bags for kids who go to the Serious Fun camps and the hole in wall that camps of part of the whole Newman legacy. So there's that. Anybody get a chance to also fill out the journal? So you have a chance to journal. Okay, we have several people who've done the journal. That's in the West room as well, but just a couple of reminders there. But welcome and thank you, Clea, for joining us. This is the 14th annual CECP Excellence Awards, which some have called the Oscars of corporate societal engagement. This is the best of the good that you all are doing. Each year we receive dozens, scores of nominees from companies of various sizes. We have big companies over 20 billion and little companies under 20 billion of revenue, as well as for nonprofits and our a new first ever award. The applications go through a very thorough process, a really remarkable process. I've seen a lot of awards groups that do these. Extraordinarily thorough process. We have an advisory board, independent, of distinguished professionals who help to evaluate and to decide who the Excellence Award winners are. And this is one area where all are winners, because even those who do not get acknowledged as the winners receive incredible feedback, the kind of feedback that you would pay substantial numbers of dollars from a consultant for to really help you take your programs up to the next level. And as this is the Excellence Award season to get those in, we'd encourage everyone to do so. There are Excellence Awards in the back of your binders if you want to get those and get those completed and in. The due date is the end of June, so we'd love to get those in. The advisory committee will be meeting in August, but we really do appreciate in getting all those in. There's obviously an opportunity for in-depth feedback for those who don't win. Everybody gets that, as well as really celebration opportunities like this for those who do are selected. But they all are part of what CECP is about, which is this notion of a force for good. And I'd like to now introduce a true force for good. Last year's winner, and from the CEO of Partners in School Education, Derek Mitchell. He originally hails from Chicago and has devoted his career to ensuring that all of our schools have equal access to technology and achievement support. Went to Pomona, UCLA, PhD. He has worked in the East. He has worked in Mississippi, in Chicago, now back out into the Silicon Valley. And we really do appreciate what he's done. Congratulations to his group again. And he's going to be our moderator for the Excellence Awards. Derek Mitchell.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you. Good afternoon, everyone. I got a little bit of advice coming out here that as long as I don't throw up, I win. Gives you a little bit of the flavor that we're going to have for today. I had the distinguished honor last year of standing on this stage and receiving the Directors Guild Award, and I hadn't thought of it as the Oscars for the nonprofit corporate responsibility piece, but that's a nice image, and so I'm going to go home and tell my mom that I actually won the Oscar. What was most special for me about this award was specifically the piece of work around crafting the story or the message around the work that we do, and having the support of the team at CECP to help us really refine the story, because as we learned earlier today, it's hugely important to manage risk, but you also have to manage reward. And part of managing reward is telling the story in such a way that it's compelling and thoughtful and powerful. This award, the Excellence Awards, is actually 3 different awards, and they are really powerful and thoughtful And the process by which folks are actually considered for this award is deep and compelling. I had the opportunity of participating in certain pieces of it during this process, and you're going to be hearing a little bit about and seeing some of the work that all of you are in a part of going forward. I also wanted to make sure to send a little bit of a shout out to our partner that won this award alongside us this past year, Applied Materials, who's here in the room, Saban. Thank you very much for all the support that you do for us and for all the good you do around the country. So there are 3 awards. The Chairman's Award is awarded to the organization that has the biggest bucks, whose revenues are $20 billion and above, involved in some thoughtful and powerful corporate responsibility work. The President's Award is awarded to that organization that's $20 billion and below. And you're going to be seeing and meeting the folks who were awarded this award this past winter as a part of the process and the engagement with the CEOs here in this particular spot in February. Let me move forward and explain one other part. You've heard that there's a new award that will be awarded today. And that's going to be provided to, it's called the Charles H. Moore Award, and it's provided to an individual. And I'll introduce, hopefully she makes her way here, introduce her. She did make her way here. Welcome. Thank you for joining us and being ready to be here with us today. So let's go ahead and get started. The Chairman Award was awarded in the 14th Annual Excellence Award, February 24th ceremony. And the award winner was Cargill, who's also in the room today. The President's Award was awarded to pg&e, who's also in the room today. And please take a few moments and see what work they were awarded for. Roll the video.
What inspires me is knowing that we're making a real difference in people's lives.
Through this partnership, we've been able to change the lives truly of 100,000 people.
Cargill has entered into this rural development program with us as a real partner, not just as a funder.
We have the same purposes and the same values at the end of the day.
Cargill is one of our flagship partnerships with the corporate community.
The Cargill Care Partnership spans 8 countries, so the global reach of this work is really one of the things that makes this partnership so unique. Our goal is to ensure that these programs are sustainable, and our goal isn't to have Cargill and Care in these communities forever. The goal is to hand these programs off to the government and to the local communities to really embrace them and make sure that they're successful for future generations.
When you have a common objective, when you have common values, it makes people very, very easy to work with. It creates a lot of trust, a lot of transparency.
We have this theory of change that if you invest in all of these areas, if you improve yields, if you improve opportunities for education, you will have thriving communities. And that's really what this is about.
I think what we've been able to create as 2 organizations coming together has really been truly wonderful. In the next phase of this partnership, we really want to deepen our work and amplify the work that we are doing around food security, and improving livelihoods. We're making a difference that's going to ultimately lead to changing our world.
We are proud of the results of this partnership. I am particularly proud of the personal efforts of our managers in the 8 countries that are noted, in their ownership of the goals that we've set together, the way in which the volunteerism of our employees has leveraged the investment of $10 million that we received from the Cargill family. Ownership, the leverage, and the partnership with CARE have made this possible. Our thanks to CECP for this recognition, for Cargill, and importantly for our employees who made this possible. Thanks, Doug.
I'm Arturo Tongson. This is my wife, Josel, and we are Habitat homeowners.
Of the hundreds of thousands of Habitat homes built across the globe, we are so honored that the world's largest solar installation is right here in Daly City.
PG&E's commitment is to put solar on every Habitat home built within our footprint of Northern and Central California. And we're very proud to have just hit the 500 home milestone.
25 Habitat affiliates throughout PG&E's service area participating. It's pretty exciting.
So not only do we provide the community with affordable housing, but we provide them with the ability to reduce their energy bills. And that's a win-win for both the community and for the company, having the visibility of providing this sort of energy source for our consumers.
We feel more financially stable, knowing that we have some money saved for other equally important stuff like saving for our children's college and enough savings to keep us through our everyday expenses.
On average, each family saves about $500 a year in energy costs. They can invest that into their family, into their children's education.
Each one of these solar panels on the roof of this development generates 300 kilowatt hours of renewable energy each and every month. Over the life of this system, 132,000 pounds of CO2 per family will not be released into the environment.
I'm humbled to accept this award, but I only do it on behalf of our 21,000 PG&E employees.
You know, I think when we're focusing on community service, you have to analyze what are the strengths and strategies of a company and try and match them up with the needs in the community. And when you get those two things to dovetail, I think you've got a very powerful force.
PG&E volunteers are rock stars. Everybody comes with a lot of energy. There's no job too big or too small.
We have thousands of hours committed each and every year by PG&E team and staff members across Northern California.
Everyone loves to go out with their teammates to do a Habitat build. It's a really hands-on, fun opportunity to do something together. It also gives us the opportunity to lend additional resources and expertise beyond just writing a check. And for us, that's real meaningful.
Safety is a priority that both Habitat and PG&E share. And PG&E has done everything from donating hard hats to providing safety scholarships to our construction leaders.
We don't succeed unless our communities succeed. We're not going to grow unless our communities grow.
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you so much.
Join me in thanking those guys one more time. In those examples, you see a kind of living, vibrant opportunity for combining not just philanthropy and social responsibility, volunteerism, environmentalism. Business talk a lot about win-wins, but in the nonprofit world, we talk a lot about win-win-win-wins. And what you've seen in these two examples are efforts that are just like that, and what you're about to meet is an effort that is similarly powerful and thoughtful. The Director's Award is provided to the organization that is a partnership between a nonprofit and a corporate partner that does an incredible job of not just delivering value against the investment, but that also leverages that value in thoughtful and powerful ways. This award carries a $25,000 cash donation that's provided by the CECP Board of Directors. Direct your attention back to the camera's video so you can see the organization that's winning that award today.
What do you want to be remembered for? At the end of the day, that's something that we all ask ourselves. Direct Relief is a humanitarian organization that focuses on health issues in emergencies and in poor areas on an ongoing basis.
We work with community health centers and free clinics in all 50 states and around the world to make sure that people have access to health care no matter what their economic status is. And so what Direct Relief is able to do is to connect with those providers, figure out the products that they need to be able to treat those patients, and then deliver those products to them in their communities.
FedEx is focused on providing access, allowing millions of people around the world to send and receive goods every day. In the case of Direct Relief, we provide that access with life-saving critical medications, and it's a very powerful combination.
Direct Relief's model in providing humanitarian aid has always been based on the involvement of companies and different people who do different things well.
And the relationship between FedEx and Direct Relief really enables thousands of people to get care, both on a day-to-day basis and after emergencies. After the typhoon in the Philippines, Direct Relief was able to mobilize enough medications to treat over 250,000 people. And thanks to FedEx, who made an entire plane available, we were able to do that just days after the disaster.
FedEx has nearly 700 planes and 90,000 vehicles. We have the world's most powerful transportation network.
For Direct Relief, that airlift to the Philippines in December was the largest single humanitarian airlift that our organization has ever done in 65 years.
In the case of Moore, Oklahoma, when the tornado struck, we were able to get in contact with the clinics hours after the tornado, analyze the products that they needed most, and then be able to do the deliveries with FedEx's assistance. We specialize in the delivery of medicine and medical supplies, and we do this on a daily basis. But when disasters happen and logistical challenges break down or channels start to get clogged, there's a fear that things you send won't make it in the condition they need to be in when they arrive. FedEx really enables us to do our work, and we really couldn't do that without the logistics backbone of FedEx.
We understand that these large problems that Direct Relief is trying to solve, it won't work unless the best people are involved. We do see people at their finest, this great quality of trying to help people, this sense of compassion and empathy. We see that come through loud and clear, particularly at the worst of times.
Really wonderful. Let me introduce you to Tom Tighe. Has been serving as the president and CEO of Direct Relief International. As you've been able to see, they are not only touching every one of the 50 states, but 88 different developing countries as well. It's not every day that you get to invite to the stage someone who can say that because of the efforts and energies of he and his teams and his supporters, that thousands of people are alive today. But that's something that you won't hear Tom say, but it's true about him. So come on up, Tom, and share your thoughts with us. You want to take a picture now? Yeah. I get to do the
and look natural.
Do the Oscar.
Right. How do we do it? Okay.
You hold it.
All right. Thank you. Well, thank you, Dr. Mitchell. If I read from yours, it would probably sound better if I just read your notes you left. But thank you to CECP and to all of you. It's a high honor for me to accept on behalf of Direct Relief, and after a terrific partnership with FedEx that the film really understates. It's such a powerful example of what I think CECP was founded to do. Everyone's for making the world a better place. Everyone's against poverty. There's not a pro-hunger lobby. It's hard to make these things work. And I think what we've learned is that it has to involve the people who are the best at it. Whether they work in a commercial setting, people die needlessly in 2014 for things that we know how to prevent and we know how to take care of. Emergencies hit all of us, they put us all at risk, but certain among us are much more vulnerable. And those are the people who are typically poor, who live in substandard housing, in low-lying areas, and we know that. You know, when Daryl was talking this morning about what counts, you know, there's that, the first thing that popped into my head was that quote that Albert Einstein had hanging in his office. And it says, not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that can be counted counts, which is a great reminder that a lot of these things, as much as we want evidence-based, objective evidence, we forget things that we knew as little kids. The hole-in-the-wall camps. There's not a business reason to do that. There's not a business reason to do a lot of things that are worth doing. There's a human reason to do it. One of the things Direct Relief works on internationally is obstetric fistula, which is an awful condition that affects only poor women, mainly in Africa. I wish that I could say there is a business model, a business case to help these women who are destitute. There is not. There's a human case to do it. And that old saying that says, you know, anything worth doing is worth doing well. I think things that are right to do, it's particularly true. Things that are right and necessary to do for humanity are necessarily done in the best way possible. So for me, what CECP stands for is this coming together, as you've seen, of groups looking at what they do very well. I mean, at the purpose level, I have found in my vast experience that most successful businesses do not go looking for people who cannot buy their goods and services, weirdly enough. That's not your job. Many nonprofits do exactly that, who will not be served by the normal forces of markets because they're poor. Where does market research typically stop? Right where the potential sale is likely to be. So we hear a lot about non-state actors being threats to the world, but there are a heck of a lot of non-market actors that are just like you and me. You know, 1 out of 7 of our fellow species really at this point isn't an attractive customer because they don't have much to pay. So you help them for other reasons. At a macroeconomic reason, of course, you need to have people be productive. You need to have people be healthy and educated so they can become consumers and customers. But ultimately, we need to look at them at a micro level too. And I think the reason that many of you probably get joy working in your jobs, trying to leverage the tools and the talents within companies is because you know that although there may not be the strongest business case, that it is probably the best thing you're going to do in your career. You're going to help people who aren't necessarily the biggest customer, but they're going to be the most appreciative person that you can ever meet. So what we've learned, I think, working for these folks who really aren't necessarily in the short term sustainable. I mean, anyone have kids here? Okay, and you were all kids at one time, so let me tell you something about sustainable. When you were born, your parents looked at you and said, "Are you sustainable? What's the game plan here? Are you gonna be profitable?" No, probably well into your 20s, you know, or 30s in some cases. If you're a parent, if you ask that question that we ask ourselves, is this a sustainable venture? The answer is no. Kids someone just told me, it's financial suicide to have kids, you know, don't do it. It's, but of course you laugh, but that's what makes this life worth living. And the fact that corporations in the world of commerce has really won the war for talent. I think the talent and the energy that has gone into the corporate sector is unbelievable. And to assume that we can solve some of the problems that continue to vex our planet, whether it's environment or health or any of the social causes, without involving where talent is insane. As is to think that the only and the best thing that corporations can do is pay taxes to a government agency who will then do it. It's crazy. So I love CECP and what it stands for, to unlock the talent, focus in on areas that are not going to get solved without your involvement, and try to lean in the most aggressive way possible with all that you learn in business to benefit people who might otherwise not be helped. And without that, I would be far less hopeful looking forward than I am. But in this room today, and to see the talent that you've assembled and what you've rallied around, it gives me great hope. And I've probably gone on too long in the Academy Awards, but you know, that's what you do when you get the big awards. So thank you very much. Thank you, CECP. Congratulations to FedEx. Thank you very much.
All right, one more shot of Derek for you. I'm hoping Eileen Howard Boone is in the room. You can make your way forward. The last award for the day and the first recipient of this award is provided to the member of the corporate responsibility community who embodies perseverance in the pursuit of social advancement. This is a Charles H. Moore Award, and this year's recipient is, drum roll please, Eileen Howard Boone. I'm going to make you stand here while I say a couple things about you.
Great, perfect.
Which is highly uncomfortable, and then we're going to shake.
I don't like talking, and I don't like people talking about me, so it's perfect. It works out
so
great.
we got all the uncomfortable pieces together today.
Yes, okay.
So Eileen is the Senior Vice President for Corporate Social Responsibility and Philanthropy at CVS Caremark, where she leads a team responsible for implementing a wide range of communications, philanthropic, and CSR programs that align with the company's purpose of helping people on their path to better health. And I won't read the rest for you, Eileen.
Okay.
So let me, do we need to switch sides? You sure? Because it wouldn't be in parity with the other picture.
Is this good side or bad side? What will you prefer?
I don't
I know
have a
how
good
important
side.
that is. Do we have to shake
you
hands
hold that
too?
first,
Okay.
and let's shake.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm very happy to be here, and I'm sorry I'm late. Has anyone ever seen that movie, Plane, Trains, and Automobiles? That has been my day so far. So I'm grateful to be here and make the award. I'm also consistent with this theme of plane, trains, and automobiles. I of course have to follow my my award winner, fellow award winner, who's a remarkable speaker. So my day just keeps getting better and better. I want to thank everyone, and particularly CECP, for this award and the words around persistence. Everybody in this room knows how persistent Charlie Moore is. And I don't think I've ever not returned a phone call from Charlie Moore. So this is a particularly inspirational kind of award for me, so I'm grateful for the honor. As a pharmacy innovation company, CVS Caremark, as Derek mentioned, takes its role in healthcare and supportive communities very seriously. And we have a company purpose of helping people on their path to better health. I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish over the last 10 years in my tenure at CVS Caremark, both through All Kids Can as well as our support of community health. As a CSR professional, I feel very proud and blessed to be in a space and with a company that's so invested in the health and well-being of its communities. It's a great honor to represent my company and the over 200,000 employees that work for our company in the small markets and the big markets, in the everyday situations that are happening in our pharmacy. So it's a great honor to be here. Another great honor and a source of pride for me was on February 5th when our company made the decision to no longer sell cigarettes in our pharmacies as of October 1st of this year. CECP asked me to talk a little bit about the why and the how, and I'm happy to do that. I'll tell you that it's one of the greatest moments of my life as a corporate social responsibility professional. This is truly for what I would define, and hopefully you too, as the essence of corporate social responsibility, of identifying those things that really is at the peril of the communities in which you work and live. So the decision really revolved around our purpose, again, helping people on their path to better health. 8 simple words that all of our 200,000 employees really know and understand. Every decision we make, every idea we have circles around and uses that filter as a help to everyone, whether it's a pharmacist in our stores, whether it's a mail order pharmacist, whether it's our CEO. We think about that purpose. And when you have such a powerful purpose like that, it's your duty and obligation to line that up with what's inconsistent. And clearly, tobacco is inconsistent with helping people on their path to better health. It's the #1 preventable threat to public health these days. So we were very proud to make the decision. It was not an easy one. It took quite a bit of time, but I just want to cite a few stats for you. More than 480,000 people die each year from tobacco-related illnesses. 42 million Americans, and this kills me, 3 million middle and high school kids continue to smoke. 3,200 kids start smoking a day. And the economic cost attributed to smoking and exposure to smoke is approximately $300 billion to our system annually. So the inconsistency was clear, but as most of you in the room are publicly traded companies, you understand how big of a decision that was. It was $2 billion, and as a publicly traded company, we had a responsibility to really take a look at that and weigh that. Fortunately, we brought all of our leaders together. We had very lively debates and conversations. We weighed the short and the long term, and we all agreed with a unified approach that we were going to quit tobacco. Then we turned around and brought it to our board, and as every good board does, they evaluate the situation. They 100% in alignment and said, go and go quickly. So it was a remarkable evolution of a decision-making process, one that I'm incredibly proud to be part of and get to talk about on a regular basis. I'm going to milk this decision from now until forever. Eliminating tobacco from our stores really aligns us very well with all of our stakeholders. As all of you do your work for CSR, you think about all the stakeholders that your business has to weigh against. It aligned us with our clients, our health plans, our colleagues, and our community partners. Everyone who's working on helping people be better, be healthier, and driving costs down. So it was a really remarkable opportunity to align ourselves. And candidly, I think the most remarkable part, which one that we underestimated, was how individuals will feel so strongly about it. Individuals have been really amazing. We have been overwhelmed by the positive response to this. Our clients have been thrilled. Our health plan partners are thrilled. And when you step back, the idea that tobacco is sold in a healthcare setting is really inconsistent. So we've been able to work on that and hopefully move that forward. Another one of the most interesting, I think, fun moments of this journey was leveraging the partnerships we had with our healthcare nonprofits. We found an extraordinary voice in those folks. They were really champions for our decision, not just because they thought it was the right thing to do, but because we would fuel the fire of the anti-tobacco movement. It was a tremendous opportunity for them, and we really benefited from their counsel and continue to benefit from their counsel going forward. And so if I look forward and what we're going to focus on next, I'm sure in this bio it outlines that I have 6 children. My oldest is 15 and my youngest is 4. And so we were talking about, sustainability. I'm dead broke. My husband happens to be a college professor, so we're hopefully going to have trade school or the UMass system. But when I think about what's next for us as a company, both as a healthcare company as well as an employer of people, we are going to be focusing on this next generation and helping the next generation be tobacco-free. Because that's so unbelievably important to our overall healthcare system. Those are the folks that are going to be employed in the next couple of years that are going to be taking care of all of us. So we need them to be smarter and to be healthier. And one of the ways we're going to do that is partner with organizations that are going to truly make a difference in educating kids about smoking, helping them never start. That's an important aspect of what we're focusing on going forward. So thank you very much for this award. Thank you, Charlie. I'm very honored and humbled to have an award in his name. So thanks very much. And I think I'm supposed to bring up my fellow colleagues to do a quick little panel. Oh, okay, sure. fellow colleagues, join me up here on the stage.
Good job.
Congratulations. You humble me.
Sorry about the whole sustainability of kids. I have 4.
I'm very blessed, although right now my 15-year-old daughter is hell-bent on breaking me, so I've had to color my hair quite more frequently, actually. Okay, well, thanks everybody for this opportunity to kind of do this panel discussion and to talk about this process, this awards process, and how important it is. There's applications, I believe, that start or go till June 30th, so it's important for all of us and all of you to share your stories. What always gets me as a professional is this powerful opportunity that all of us have to share stories, to share the impact that we make. I wish I had a video. Hopefully I'll have a video next year. But all 3 of you, your videos were so incredible and so inspiring. I really want to touch a little bit more. But first I have to do 2 quick introductions because we didn't have time to do that for Ezra and Michelle. Michelle joined Cargill in 1998 and serves as the Director of Corporate Citizenship. In her role, Michelle is responsible for the company's annual $16 million corporate giving program and leads the company's global partnerships with selected non-governmental organizations, particularly those focused on nutrition and health, environmental stewardship, and rural economic development. Michelle also provides leadership and training to Cargill's businesses on corporate citizenship, issues management, and stakeholder relations. Michelle serves on the executive committee for the Center for Corporate Citizenship at Boston College and serves as a member of the Global Water Challenge Steering Committee. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you.
And Ezra. Ezra is the director of pg&e Corporation Foundation and director of community relations. Ezra is responsible for maximizing the impact, reach, and visibility of community investments and partnerships, multicultural outreach, and its community volunteer programs. Ezra's 10 years includes roles of increasing responsibility with government relations, customer care, and human resources. His current community involvement includes board service with the Latino Community Foundation, Leadership San Francisco, Meals on Wheels of San Francisco, and the Public Affairs Council. So thanks, Ezra, for joining us. So let's start off the conversation really quickly, and all 3 of you can answer, which is, where did those ideas come from? Where did that inspiration of creating these partnerships really start, and how did you get them through? How did you get leadership to have buy-in? And obviously it requires a lot of employee engagement. So how did you facilitate that in a way that drove that success? Michelle, you want to start?
Sure, I'm happy to start. It's interesting, Cargill's partnership with CARE, and I just want to quickly call out Marcella Hahn, who is here from CARE, because this really is a partnership. So while it's really nice that Cargill is on the stage, it's really both organizations who have made this work. So thank you for being here. Cargill's partnership with CARE dates back 50 years when Cargill began supporting the earliest work that CARE did. They provided care packages to families affected by war. And so it was interesting as we began our partnership to kind of look back at the history. And about 6 or 7 years ago, we had a very strategic conversation with the then CEO of CARE about how our 2 organizations could work together. And actually the ask at that time was, we're a multinational organization and we have some challenges in HR. Could Cargill lend some expertise? And so we really began thinking about the partnership, not really in terms of a grant, but in terms of how do you bring 2 complex organizations together and really address fundamental issues, both internally, but also then how could we address some really important challenges in communities where we both operated. Cargill and CARE have a really interesting, if you look at the map and where the 2 organizations are located, we really find ourselves in some of the same places and some very, very challenging places. And so we wanted to look at issues like rural economic development, food security, improving access to education, particularly for girls in places like India. How do we improve access to good food for kids? And so we began looking at these, and these are not easy issues. And so we formed a partnership that would really work globally. How do we look at this partnership and set a framework, but really engage our local teams? And so it was our local countries that worked, the CARE and the Cargill teams that worked together to really develop what they would work on underneath this framework. So I think to answer the question, I would say it's a global relationship, but it has to be done locally. And we were really successful at trying to build that engagement early on and really build that ownership early on in the partnership.
Either one? Ezra? Tom?
Well, I think from a nonprofit's perspective, I think the case is very compelling. It's hard to maybe sometimes have companies see it through the same lens you do. I mean, for all the obvious reasons, it's like, what's the cost? What's the risk? What does this make sense? But I think, particularly with respect to FedEx, their intuitive grasp, we worked a lot with them after Hurricane Katrina, where their drivers themselves were affected. Yeah. And when we became, as the only nonprofit that's actually licensed to distribute prescription medications in all 50 states, so we have VAUD accreditation, just like Rite Aid and CVS and the big companies do, which is a nightmare to do, but we've taken it very seriously. But the logistics challenges that arise, you can know what should be done, but knowing how to do it is a totally different ballgame. FedEx grasped it intuitively, and I think the people, thankfully, companies are still run by human beings, not robots yet. And so I think the people who made the decision said, let's do this. And they took it all the way up to the senior leadership. They embraced it, and they've gone forward since. What's now the largest charitable medicines program in the United States would not have happened if people at FedEx hadn't said, let's do this.
Seems very intuitive. Now that you see the video, it seems very intuitive.
In retrospect, it makes all sorts of sense.
Right.
That's the challenge, right, on this stuff. Everything that works makes perfect sense in retrospect. It's looking forward. How do you divine the absolutely crazy things from the thing that will look, and it's hard to tell. So I think we've been around 60 years at the time, and I think, so we've been sustainable, or sustained at least, and I think FedEx, they're jumping in with their know-how. I think one of the things that we've always said is the purpose of money is to convert to goods and services. Right. So if nonprofits like Direct Relief can say, what is it that we would do if we had money, and who has that insight and that skills, and talk to them, sometimes that's an easier give. It makes more sense. It allows them to do it in a much more coherent way. And FedEx both embraced it, understood it, and have really run with it to a degree that we couldn't have even hoped for. So thank you.
Yeah, as a disclaimer, we use Direct Relief as well. And I would tell you that what your organization is very good at is solving our problems. And when I say our problems, how do we get our products to where they need to go? Right. And invariably, it becomes a real challenge, particularly in disaster. So solving companies' problems, and problems in the best sense of the word, that they have goods and services and investments to make, really does make a difference. So kudos to your organization. Ezra?
For our company, coming out of the California energy crisis in the mid-2000s, we understood that our customers, and we serve 1 in 20 Americans, but virtually all of those 15 million customers are within Northern and Central California. And at that time, solar technology was relatively new at the residential level, but we knew that our customers were very interested in having more control over their energy choices, and that was incumbent on us as their only choice in terms of electric service provision, that we had to deliver that for them. And so we were looking for a way to demonstrate to them that solar at the residential level is accessible, it's affordable, you can integrate it into your home without disrupting the aesthetics, it's not difficult. And our partners at Habitat were really presenting a unique opportunity because, again, because of our size, we're the largest landowner in the state. Actually, the state of California is a little bit bigger, but it's important for us to be able to roll out a program like this at scale. And so what Habitat brought was nearly 30 chapters across our footprint. And so we were able to work with them on a pilot basis in the Bay Area. You recall at this time, even Habitat wasn't installing solar on their homes. So most chapters were very resistant to the idea. So they brought the ability to scale. And what we brought, which was unique, sort of above and beyond the financial contribution, was expertise to try to show and train those folks on how the program can be done in a way that didn't disrupt their volunteer operations, didn't disrupt their schedules for these builds that they do. And so for us, that was sort of the win-win, and making the case for an investment of that size at our company was really key, because we had to demonstrate that we could move the needle in terms of letting them know that solar is doable on their homes. Fast forward to today, we use this program as a vehicle to also demonstrate that internally, we could fully integrate the sustainability aspects of our program with the charitable giving aspects. Right. So we've just recently combined both aspects a couple of years ago. Our giving program is now at $23 million annually, and I get to lead the function as the Chief Sustainability Officer. So, you sort of pick up momentum with a pilot like this, and for us, the secret was calling it a pilot. You can do something a little bit riskier that first time. This was our first $1 million signature program. Now we have a portfolio of 7 of them, and really this was the basis for all of that.
Yeah, success breeds success. I need you to put a few solar panels right above my daughter's bedroom.
Okay, happy to do so.
That would be super great as I get my National Grid bill every month. So let's turn our attention to measurement. Derek had mentioned the comment of win-win-win. I think that's very, very important for all of us to understand. Oops, I'm getting 0. Okay, just really quickly, measurement. How important was that to, for example, the pilot? It's using that measurement, and how do you leverage that with leaders and other stakeholders?
The pilot opportunity is tremendous because it creates a little bit of a buffer, sort of a safe place for you to try something new.
Yep.
But at the same time, coming out of that pilot, there is expectation that you can demonstrate results. You need data because ultimately those are going to be your proof points for carrying the program forward and expanding into new places. So for us on the front end, we did a pretty good amount of measurement in terms of survey results and focus groups, sort of testing our friends at Habitat to see, what is their credibility in this space? If we did solar with Habitat, would people view that as, well, okay, that is relevant to me?
Credible, right.
And then going forward, we made sure that we could demonstrate that we were getting the same sort of lift through the program as we were having success, both from a public standpoint in terms of how people viewed the program, but also in terms of the community-wide impacts, not just in terms of carbon emissions avoided, in the mid to late 2000s. That was the most attractive proof point.
Right.
But after the financial crisis in the late 2000s, what we saw was that the measurement we did around energy cost savings was even more significant and impactful. So a robust measurement program where you're not just following the thing that's interesting at that time, but you're really following a portfolio of measurable proof points,
right.
Allows you to pivot later on. So now when we talk about the community impacts, we don't talk about emissions removed. We talk about the fact that over the lifespan of these panels, collectively, we're going to remove $7.5 million in energy costs from these low-income households. So measurement was tremendous, both again, at the front end to make the case for the investment that we wanted to make, but on the back end to allow us to tweak and refine our messaging so that we were getting sort of maximum reputational lift through the program as well.
So Michelle and Tom, you have the ultimate outcomes, lives, right? And you get to share those stories. I would imagine those are incredibly powerful as you go to continue your missions. Do you want to talk a little bit about those, about the stories? How do you share those with your stakeholders, both internally and externally? I'm just going to run out the clock. I've already done that.
Yeah, I think, although, we, among other things, we implemented SAP, which for those of you who don't, it's a nightmare. And for a little nonprofit to put a full SAP implementation in, to have a seriousness of purpose, if you want to lean into this, you have to do it right. So it generates so much data that's only as good as the analysts that you put onto it. But I think we measured everything. The cost of processing. We wanted to see what's going on in this country, right. Where there's 23 million people who are essentially off the grid, and to network those clinics together, our processing time, delivery times, and ultimately that in emergencies and on an ongoing basis, that people can get medications overnight that have to be cold store delivered within 18 hours in Moore, Oklahoma. We were able to do that, and that lends itself to good measurement and very good results, with proof that what would have happened if people had gone into insulin shock. So,
all right, they're going to come rushing onto the stage.
Now,
so
-4. We're measuring time, and
we're measuring time as well.
Sorry,
Michelle.
Yeah, it's okay, and I know we're out of time. I'll just say that in an age where transparency is increasingly important, it's really, really key to have really good measures and really good metrics around what it is you're trying to achieve. Of course, we want to have the positive impacts, and as you talked about, really improve the livelihoods of the people that we touch through our program. So we had to have measures in place to be able to do that. We started off with 6 indicators. We were able to track those over 5 years, and we're able to really accomplish a lot of those goals. But so as you're thinking about designing new programs, it's really important at the outset to know what it is your goals are, what it is you're going to try to achieve, and then invest the resources. And it does take resources to be able to measure the impact that you're having and then to be able to communicate it. Really, really important.
Perfect way to end. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity.